Hi, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, a show with meaningful conversations in English with non natives like myself, Jendrik.
And myself, Masha,
And we are two English teachers who,
who actually teach English.
yes,
Are
yes,
we not?
but
Because people may
yeah,
think that
yeah,
we are, these fancy podcasters or what is it, newsletter writers or chin waggers
exactly,
or
exactly,
many roles.
yes, but
But what we actually do
we
is
are
we
mainly
teach
we are
English. It
mainly
means
teachers,
that,
yes,
yeah, you can learn English with
and
us.
yeah, and perhaps Masha, we don't talk about it too often, you know. I mean, yes,
Yeah, maybe we should.
we are out there. Yeah, we are out there, available to hire. So, um, everything from one-on-ones through group classes through, I want to say, also other projects involving some kind of creation of convivial atmosphere. It's us, you know.
What does it mean? You're like a
Oh
master of
yeah, it's
ceremony or what?
Nah, not really. No, but conversations as a phenomenon, you know, it's a great thing to add to
To your
your
resume.
holidays or no. Yes,
I don't know
yes,
where
but I
should I
think
put it.
as entertainment, I'd love to honestly animate conversations in some sort of um, not resorts, but small boutique hotels. It'll be so nice, you know. You go down to the lobby and there's a nice conversation waiting for you. Wouldn't that be great?
So if you happen
Yeah,
to be listening and if you're an owner of a boutique hotel or
exactly.
a big cruise ship, for that matter, why not?
Yeah, why not? Oh, yeah,
You
that'll
can
be
hire
nice. That'll be
Jendrik and
nice.
he will run great conversations for you.
Yes. All right. So, with that being said, we are two English teachers who actually teach English. That's true. All right, great. Masha, this show, however, is about digging into concepts. So, I'm curious about today's question.
So today's question is, I'm gonna something so local. I mean, it's local because
Mhm.
it's local to me.
All
Uh,
right.
what is the difference between a writer and an author? I'll tell you what I because I'm subscribed to a writer, and she's a like that's what she does. She trains. She provides some training, and her motto is, "I help writers become authors."
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what is she talking about?
Isn't she talking about just publishing stuff?
No,
Because
no, 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 no,
I
no. She
guess
teaches you the
it's not.
craft. Nothing about publishing.
All right. Because I was thinking, you know, at first when you asked the question, I was thinking that, you know, everybody can be a writer, not everyone's an author, because not everyone publishes the stuff and
You are
potentially
an
sells
author
it.
only when you publish your stuff?
I guess. Are you
No.
an author? Okay, so if you write something and you finish it,
Yes.
but it's in your drawer,
Yeah. I show it
you are
only
an
to you.
author.
I'm still an author of this text.
Then I don't see, wait a second,
Oh, come
an
on, tell
author.
me. They are one and the same. Come on, just say it.
No, 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 no. I'm not going to say that because I'm too smart to say that, you know, because I know that language is smart, you know. We wouldn't have
Too
two different
smart.
concepts, two different words if that was the same. But an author of a book, an author.
Yeah,
It's
you
rather
are never
books
an
that are
author of.
authored. I don't think you are an author of something that's written. You're not an author of a movie. You may be an author of the movie script, but not really a movie, right? You're a director or a
Because there are so
producer.
many people. You can't, there is
Yeah,
not one person who is an author of
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. So an author is someone who's independent in their creation,
But what do you mean independent? What if I'm
in
a
the sense that you
ghostwriter? What
do
if
it.
I'm a ghostwriter? I'm not totally independent. What if I'm a
Yeah, but
copywriter?
it's you who's doing the job from A to Z, you know?
Yeah,
From the beginning to the
I'm
end, you're
not
the author.
independent.
But you can also co-author something.
Yeah.
Hmm. So in that case, it's this argument about being independent is not maybe uh, super valid. Okay, well, tell me, or give me some hints,
I don't
because I
know.
assume. So why would
But
she say that I help writers become authors? I mean, to me,
well, what is in this word is authority, you know? I think you need to,
mhm,
I mean, I can write uh, a curse word on the wall. Doesn't make me
yeah,
an author.
yeah, you are the author of that because the school principal may be looking for the author of that act of vandalism, and you are the author of that curse word. Why not? Because I think you mentioned authority. I don't think that author comes from authority; it's from acting. Author is a person who's acting, and in that
So
case,
what is the word? What is the etymology?
mm,
Auto.
I think it comes from acting.
Auto,
Author
like
is an
auto to
acting
me.
person. It's an actor, except, but you're right, there's authority. God damn it, there's something in between. Um, because once again, that act of vandalism definitely has an author.
And I can hear more and more people today that when they go on different shows and they introduce themselves as author, I'm an author of this or that book. They don't say I'm a writer.
Yeah, you're right.
Or
I'm
maybe
an
writer
author.
is like you see it as I don't know, your profession or something like this. This is what you do to make a living, to I don't know, generally what you do. Like you are a teacher, and somebody
Mhm.
who writes for a living is a writer. But you
You're
may
not a
be,
professional author? It sounds weird, right?
yeah, professional author
A
sounds
professional author.
very.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
may
professional.
have, I may have written one book, and I
Mhm,
can call myself an author, but I wouldn't call
mhm.
myself a writer. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. You're right. Because you authored the book, but it was the one and only book
Mhm.
that um,
Authored.
that you wrote. Yeah, that you authored, that you wrote. But you're not a writer because you cannot call yourself a writer. Or if you're a doctor, for example, a medical doctor, and
Hmm.
you happen to write a book, but just one book, right? I know, whatever. And then you publish it, and you're the author of that book, but you're not a writer. But I don't see why, in the slogan that you mentioned, author is put above the writer because
Hmm.
everyone's a writer, or there are lots of writers, but somehow they are not authors. I don't know what's. I would rather.
Reverse.
Advertise it the other way. Yeah, reverse it. Yeah, like I will help the authors become writers, so that you do stuff regularly, you publish, and you make a living out of it.
Well, I have an idea what she means. It's like, today everybody's a writer. I mean, if you write something on Facebook, you consider yourself a writer. But taking responsibility, authority, learning the craft, um, maybe that's the way she's pointing to.
So an
No.
author is someone who has certain convictions, or what? Like someone who's sure of themselves.
Sure, mm, yeah, a good book is when you realized something, you
Mhm.
understand you're not on the fence anymore. You know which side of the fence you are on at whatever. And you want to, I mean, you understood something in this world and you
Mhm.
share this. So maybe
Mhm.
this
All
understanding,
right. All
this
right.
realization, this is authority.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense, and that's why author has so much in common with authority. that you can speak about something with confidence, right? I'm sure about that. That's why I published the book. I'm sure that love may look like that,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's why I wrote it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. However, um, mm, that's kind of, I don't know if you can honestly speak
In
with
nonfiction,
authority
it's easier.
because
Hmm.
in
Go ahead.
nonfiction it's easier, but I see that writers are not any kind of absolutists, that they capture something once and for all.
Unless you are this who wrote this Alchemist.
Oh yeah, Paulo Coelho.
Yeah, unless you are Paul.
Yeah, but you just capture a glimpse, something, and you try to immortalize it. It's like art. But I don't know if it's quite common, by the way, to invite writers as experts in France to TV or radio programs.
As
Writers
an
actually,
experts on what?
yeah, on whatever they write
Write
about.
about. You talk about
Yeah, yeah.
nonfiction
I mean, yeah,
writers.
yeah. Writers actually have a very good reputation in France. So if you're a writer, you are considered as someone worth listening to.
You
And
talk about nonfiction.
yeah, yeah.
But
No,
these
sorry,
writers today, these
it does matter.
writers
No,
of
no, no,
nonfiction
not
today, they are
fiction
just
writers. Fiction writers.
experts on something.
Fiction
That's
writers.
different.
Fiction writers.
Ah, okay,
No, no,
fiction.
I'm speaking of fiction writers. Yes, fiction writers.
So if you're a writer, acknowledged writer,
Mhm.
it's assumed that you know something about this life.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's what I was talking about. This knowledge, this realization, this um,
but then we need to ask if a course,
non-exist.
any
Mhm.
course other than life itself, could turn you into an author. Could give you that authority because it's not a matter of, I guess, some kind of mm, it's not a skill, I guess.
Yeah, but even
It's certain
life
quality
itself
that you
that's
develop.
happening to you is not enough because many people
Hmm, hmm.
there
You're
is
right.
this transition from I will never forget this lecture. It's basically the first lecture on writing. There is the state of um, okay, how to translate it? Nebutia, non-existence. You may live
Hmm,
your life, but you don't exist per se. You don't
hmm,
have this authority. You just go with the flow, whatever life's happening to you. But then something happens to you
hmm,
and you realize it. I don't know how to put it. And you come into the state of existence. And only then you can create this work of art, whatever that is. I don't know if it's even clear what I'm talking about.
mm. I mean, yeah, it's kind of vague, of course, but
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand what you said before. Life itself is not enough because you need certain
Yes.
sensitivity,
Mm-hmm.
certain, keen eye,
Mm-hmm.
and some kind of observation skills and whatnot. Not to mention the workshop. I mean, writing itself as a craft, right? But yeah, yeah, you may live through your life
Without
totally
this
blind.
authority,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How to,
Yeah,
it's not
without the
agency
realization. Yeah,
rather. Yeah.
rather agency. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
about agency as
Yeah.
because uh, mm, oh, this is complex.
That's what I
Because an
do.
author,
I make your
yeah,
brain
yeah,
what? Tickle? Is it
cook.
tickling?
No, it's not tickling. It's
Mm,
cooking.
cooking.
I think, but yeah, to become an author, I kind of start grasping it,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
that to become an author, it's some kind of awakening, right? And that's why she's
Whoa.
advertising it
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah, because you may be a writer, you may be writing about stuff, just like you may be walking and breathing and so on, because
Hmm.
but to do it consciously, mindfully, and with a certain purpose, it's a different thing. You need to
Hmm.
wake up. Yeah. But and I agree with you that life itself is sometimes not enough, unless
Hmm.
there are some events in your life that kind of push you. But look at that. There are some people who lived through some interesting.
Times
mm,
and never produced anything. Yeah.
yeah,
Most
yeah,
of
yeah,
people
exactly.
never
Yeah, but on the other side,
produced.
there are some people who, let's say, survived a plane crash, and they may write a book about it, right? And sell it, and they will be authors too,
It
I
doesn't take
guess.
a plane crash. You can go through a
No,
breakup
my
or
yeah,
whatever. You can go
but
shopping
you
and
know something. I I was thinking because I don't know if you remember some good few years ago there was a terrible accident in Chile in a mine where a group of miners were trapped. I don't know, several hundred meters below the ground.
Mhm.
They were trapped, and they spent a long time down there, something like definitely over 2 months, maybe right now I can't remember exactly, but it was a long time. But they managed, the rescue teams managed to drill a hole to where they were, and they
Mhm.
managed to provide them with food, with everything, until they could dig a proper tunnel, and rescue them, because that hole they drilled was not big enough to
For a
you know
human.
to yeah. And I remember that there was a movie made after that, based on that. And one of these miners wrote a memoir, a book basically about it, probably with the help of a ghostwriter or someone. But let's assume that even if that person wrote it himself, then he would be an author, right? But the question is, um, was that person, you know, awakened by that event, or was it
No, I'm talking
simply
about
telling
different
a,
books, not the
yeah, yeah, because
memoirs.
exactly, but yeah, because memoirs are
Yeah, just an
relatively easy to
account
write.
of,
Yeah, it's an account.
yeah, well, not relatively. I mean, it has to be entertaining, not only dry facts, so it takes some
Yeah,
skill.
yeah, but
But
but you but the story is there, right? Because
the
you lived
story
through
is there.
something, so you don't have
It's
to.
not that the story is there. It's that it the, it's how it is told in a linear way without any,
Yeah,
there are no contradictory ideas where you sympathize with. I mean, it's just an account of events. That's it. That's a
yeah,
little bit different.
but you
Uh,
may author that. I mean,
yeah, yeah. There is a second meaning, very literal meaning to this word. That means it's just you were the person who produced something. Yes,
yeah.
you are the author of this writing on the wall. You are the author of this podcast.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah, I guess we are the authors. Yeah, I guess.
but we never call ourselves. Hi and welcome. We are the
No,
authors.
because there's a word, a podcaster, and it contains, I
Ah,
guess.
okay, okay, okay. So the awakening, I like this
But there is
thing.
you're right that the word author actually is deeper than what it seems. At first, it's the person who made something, right? An act. But on the other side, and from the
An
meaning
act of
that,
writing, you mean?
yeah, I mean, whatever. You're the
No, not
author
whatever.
of.
For example, take the Old Man and the Sea. He didn't
Mhm.
Hemingway didn't necessarily had to. he didn't necessarily have to do all this. He wasn't at sea. He wasn't struggling with
Yeah,
this
yeah,
fish.
yeah. Because it's not a memoir. It's not a memoir. It's a different thing. So,
Yeah, so the act you mean is writing.
yes.
But before he wrote this, I mean, after all, it's just a day at sea. Like an old fisherman is trying to catch a fish. There's nothing more, I mean, in terms of story there.
Hmm.
But the idea, what he must have uh,
I
had
sometimes wonder,
Hemingway.
if I sometimes wonder if they actually have all of these deep thoughts in their heads when they write, or is it actually the later, the critics, other people who see like double and triple meaning inside, because I think The Old Man and the Sea has been compared to the Bible, to some stories, that are, age old and universal, of course. And this Moby Dick was a metaphor of a lot of things.
Yeah, I understand what
But
you
I
mean.
wonder
And
if
this is the
Hemingway, when he was actually writing it, was he thinking about it? All of
no,
that?
no, 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 he wasn't. And the reason I know about this, well, no, because while I was doing this course, and we, of course, take, for example, a piece of writing, usually a short story like Salinger, let's say. Yeah, he's a master of short stories. And we would go with the teacher through this story, and he would show us particular pieces of it and what it meant.
Hmm.
And then after, I remember that after one class, I came up to this teacher and said, "Can you please explain it to me? How is it done?" So he sat down and made a list of, 10 ideas I want to convey and how I want to do it. And then he wrote this. He said, "No, of course not." He just sat down and just wrote it the way he wanted. And now we, these scribblers or whoever, sit down, nitpickers, and try and decipher
Yeah, to
this.
interpret,
Yeah, but
to
this
add
is
a
a
meaning to it.
relationship between the writer and the reader. And I don't know, in
Hmm.
some sense, when you're reading something like this, when you're not reading, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey, but you read Hemingway, you are
Hmm.
co-authoring this because the book
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
read,
yeah.
it's your
It's
own
a
book.
yeah, yeah.
It
It's
may
like
be
a
a very different
conversation,
book that Hemingway has written.
Yes. But
So,
then, Masha, what sort of authority are we talking about? Where is this authority? Because
yeah,
it's
where
not
is
the
the
author who
authority?
has it. Because if that was really a wise man who wrote something that you have to interpret and reinterpret and find, different shades of meaning, if he was conscious about it, then yes, we could say that he was, he had this kind of authority, blah blah. But sometimes they just sit down and write. There's
Yes,
something in
but
their
before
head
they sit
and
down
they
and
have
write,
no idea.
they uh, uh, they they had awakened, they had something inside, and they just need to
Yeah,
put it on paper.
but I don't think they are
Only later
aware
you
of.
you you understand if it was a good work or
Yes,
not. What they can do is just
yes.
simply sit down, write, and edit, of course, and whatever. But without this thing, I mean, this is a good how a good book is different from a bad book. Bad book is written because just want to make money, and I know the structure, how the story is supposed to
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
told, and that's it. But when you have a great work of fiction, even, yeah,
Hmm.
this was, of course, you have to follow the recipe. You have to have, the 3 act and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But it starts with this awakening, realizing something, understanding something, putting the distance between you and the event, digesting all this. It's actually also very important. For example, now, um, the books that are written now about the war,
Hmm.
they can't even be good books because there's not enough distance between you and the event. It just doesn't work like this.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. There may
It's
be
also
some
interesting.
reports,
Not
other
not
stuff,
of
but
not of misinterpreting facts, but simply digesting this experience, understanding something.
Hmm.
You are still in this heat of the moment. You can't achieve this deep, I don't know, realization of something because you need the distance.
Hmm.
It's also interesting, actually.
Yeah, but it's turns out that even a monkey could be an author,
Of what?
because of whatever, maybe the monkey could scribble something and there was that thing with painting, right? A monkey painted something, then it was sold for
Never heard of it.
there was an experiment like
Well, you mean a
this,
monkey accidentally scribbled something? No, that's not
Yeah,
authority. That's
well,
not agency.
but you are not the master of it, whether you get this authority or not, it's to be decided by the time. That's why, even professional publishers, when they see some books, they say this is crap. And you go to another publisher, he says this is crap. And then you go to the 50th, he says, okay, I'm going to publish that. And the book becomes
But then you become
uh,
Joanne Rowling, yeah.
yeah, exactly. It becomes, a worldwide bestseller and a classic. But the people who read it, professionals who read it, they said, "Oh, it's not going to sell. I see nothing in it."
Yes, but they are not assessing its value in terms of idea. They are assessing simply whether it can be sold or not. That's it.
Yeah, somehow they are commercial appeal, right?
They are like Spotify. They are like the algorithm.
Yeah, but it also shows because they were mistaken so many times. There are so many great books that were rejected by publishers and so on, and it shows that books live their own life, once they are published. Sometimes they grow into something absolutely amazing, a canon, and sometimes they just get forgotten.
So you're saying that you don't have any authority because it's not up to you to.
Yeah, I think I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think it's not up to you. It's totally not up to you. You may have the guts to write something, but how it's going to be received and how it's going to fare,
I wouldn't
it's
say that
totally
you
not up
have
to you.
no authority. It's just that it transforms into something different once you release it into the world. But before you do it, you have the manuscript, yes, and
Hmm.
and you, I mean, you are the author. You have this authority, even if it hasn't been published yet. I mean, I can show it to you, can show it to somebody else. So I am the,
Can you author a crap?
of course,
I mean, something that's just bad.
of course, if you're not
So,
afraid to author it.
yeah, but that shows that quality is independent from authority, You may author something that is low quality.
Yes.
The same is with being an artist. You can be an artist. Are you an artist if you produce crap, basically?
Well, the quality of art is such a difficult,
It's difficult, but it is
but
sometimes, if not measurable, then it's felt. Sometimes you feel it's crap, it's kitsch or something. Sometimes you feel there's something more to it. But with writing, it's the same. So an author is basically someone who's courageous enough to
to put his name
write
on it.
and to put his, or not even his name. It's sometimes maybe
It's a pseudonym, yeah.
a pseudonym. Yeah, but
It's actually interesting. Why would you use a pseudonym? Because don't want, you don't have the guts.
yeah, I
Or you want
mean,
to avoid
there may be different
publicity or some.
reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Just like J.K. Rowling, right? She was also publishing under a pseudonym of Robert. What was the
Well, yeah,
pseudonym?
because after all this hate she got when
I don't
she
think. I mean,
no
it's
no no it
interesting,
was it was
but
because of that.
it was because of that.
Yes. Because nobody
All
would
right.
buy, well, I mean, not nobody, but a lot of people
Pff,
just
really?
canceled her as a writer.
All right, I didn't know. Robert Galbraith, by the way. Yeah,
I don't know. I
Robert
haven't read
Galbraith.
anything
Yeah, yeah.
by her.
But this is a total. So this is stuff that is so much different from. I think she was. She was. I don't think knowing her just a little bit. I don't think she was afraid or bullied by the cancel culture. I think she simply wanted to write something different, and not to be associated with Harry Potter, because Harry Potter was, such a success. It was, overshadowing everything else she was doing. So she decided that, okay, I want to write, because Robert Galbraith, uh,
Have you
or
read
J.K.
anything?
Rowling, me not, but my
By
wife is a huge fan.
uh-huh.
But these are detective stories, crime stories. So
Hmm.
it's something totally different than Harry Potter. And I think that if she was writing
She
under her
had
real
put
name,
her name, yeah, you read and you
yeah, that
just
would be
can't
like,
help but trying to find Harry Potter.
yeah,
I
exactly.
see.
And
Okay, maybe.
this is the author of some kind of, I would say it's a book for children. Harry Potter is not exactly for children, but
Well, first books
still,
are.
it's a children book, yeah. So she wanted to simply start a new life as, I wonder if she's like two authors or one author. Because she's at one time she's J.K. Rowling, and another time she's Robert Galbraith. So I wonder if
It's
we can say
interesting.
that she's actually there are two authors, even though it's one writer and two authors. It's quite interesting, right?
But okay, how about people who wrote, who didn't stick to one particular genre, who wrote in different genres? Are they what, five, six, seven authors?
I mean, it's a matter of, I guess, because the author, what we have accidentally maybe established, is someone who is not afraid to put their name to the work. So I guess that if you write different genres, but you still publish it as one and the same person, then you're just one author. But if you have several pseudonyms, then I guess there might be different authors. I mean,
Well, in her case, I
oh,
wouldn't
this is sick,
call it a 100% pseudonym because everybody knows who's behind this pseudonym. A true
Yeah,
pseudonym
exactly.
is when nobody knows who the real author
You're
is.
right.
Who is this
You're
person?
right.
That would be, that's what I want to do. Nobody will ever, ever
Mm,
know if I ever write
you're
my
right.
book.
You're right. But I guess she revealed that, or I don't know, how was it discovered? But I would still claim that these are two authors. One writer and two authors.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I have no idea
Robert
what a
Galbraith.
pseudonym does to you psychologically. How much of your personality you, oh, it's interesting. It's interesting, but I have very tricky
I
relation with it
sometimes think
because
that,
I, for
it,
example,
it means a
refused.
lot. It means a lot. Hmm.
I refused to take my husband's name when I got married.
Hmm.
And not for because part of it was because it's a huge you know well, it's a nuisance because you have to replace some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Replace your
but
documents,
but but
whatever.
that was not it, honestly. It's just I couldn't imagine how all my life I was this person and
Yeah.
suddenly I'm a different person, because I have a
Hmm.
different name. I just
Hmm.
couldn't bear this thought. So I
Hmm.
can't imagine what a pseudonym does to you when you put this name on the book and this is you.
I think it would be quite
So
useful
interesting.
for writers. I mean, because you
I-
have to overcome um,
You mean you
yourself
take
in a
on
way.
this different personality
Yes.
and it helps you write? Well, it can be very liberating because
Yeah.
that's actually another thing for the
Especially if you're a woman and
you
you change everything. I mean, but I don't think that, speaking of J.K. Rowling, that, that she has some kind of schizophrenia,
no, of
and
course
she
not.
just
No, no, no.
assumed a different pen name. That's all. But I guess it's helpful because you can dissociate that work from the other work,
Well, in her
that you
case,
publish.
yes, yes. But what if you only write, you put the pseudonym on all your work?
Hmm.
What does it do to your personality? It's funny. It's actually, what is the word? Cunning?
For what?
That for what I'm about to say, that only yesterday I randomly picked a book from, I have long forgotten closet with
All right,
different
all right.
old books, and I picked a book because I was taking a bath, and it was some very famous, it turned out, American writer, Paul Ost, whatever. But the book,
Hmm.
it's a mystery story or detective story. I read only a couple of pages, and the main character of the book is a writer, and he's
Hmm.
writing under a pseudonym, and the main character of all his detective stories is another, character.
Hmm.
And he's contemplating in the book that maybe this pseudonym is the bridge between, because the writer is associating himself more and more with the main character of his books.
Hmm.
And this pseudonym is somehow like a bridge between them. Very interesting thoughts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
But I was thinking that sometimes, because there are probably many reasons for using a pseudonym, but sometimes you may be using it at first, because you're afraid, to associate yourself with that work, or you want to protect your real name. But then, let's say the book grows successful, so it's a certain brand now, and you're
Mhm.
afraid to drop it, so you have to keep writing as that, under that pseudonym, I guess, because it grows into a brand. I think the name of the author is at certain point incredibly important. If you're Vargas Llosa, you are Vargas Llosa, and you need to publish as Vargas Llosa because you are, a Nobel Prize winner and so on.
Well, you mean that people will, of course, buy a 10th book by whoever, I don't know,
Yeah,
Stephen King,
yeah,
rather
yeah,
than
yeah,
Jendrik. But yeah, but when you start writing and you choose to write under a pseudonym, like, what are the reasons? If you want to avoid this publicity and never um, be associated with your work, then why would it? It doesn't matter. Once you become successful, people will buy your
yeah. But
books
it's more
under
common.
that.
I think it's more common in the world of music, right? You hardly. I mean, you do have some artists who,
Use their real names.
who use their real names, but I think it's more common to use either, of course, a band name, but pseudonyms and some stage names.
No, but in show business, I think that there are different reasons for doing that. Because what if your name is, I don't know, Maria Smith? Who wants
I
to
would
listen to
like,
her? Everybody wants to listen to Madonna, or I don't
or
know,
Maria Carey,
Mariah Carey.
Mariah, right? Um, yeah, but coming back to authoring stuff. Yeah, author is a name. Writer is a job.
Wow.
Author is a name. It's a name, like, it's a certain, name and surname. But a
And
writer is just
everything that
like,
is behind it that it represents.
yes, yes, and an author is a
Okay.
it's a person. Um, I wonder if machine could be an author of something. It could be, right, these days. Definitely, it could be. Um,
You mean AI writing a book?
yeah, yeah. It would be the author, right? The author of that book is a computer, a machine, artificial intelligence, however. Because, I mean, as long as, because you may also claim authority, or no, sorry, not authority, authorship, because it's a different thing.
Authorship.
Yeah, you can claim authorship. You may, for example, a PhD paper, or MA thesis.
The AI
You may.
cannot be an author of a book for this particular reason. AI cannot put its name on the book and publish it. It's always going to be a person who will say that the book
But
was
remember, you don't have
produced
to publish.
in
You don't have to
co-authorship
publish
with. Yeah, but AI has no agency to do it right now, at least.
to claim authorship.
Yes,
Yeah, but it's not even.
because the idea to write this book didn't come from AI. The idea came from a human. The human gave the task
Hmm.
to AI,
Hmm.
and then
Oh,
edited
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
You're right.
that's, you can't say at least
You're right.
for now, you can't say that AI is
This
an
is, yeah.
author of this book.
Fundamentally, it's what you say,
Hmm.
and on top of that, AI. We know that the large language models, they basically compile
Hmm.
stuff that, but I guess human writers may also be doing this. There's a lot of intertext. They say that everything has already been written. Now it's just some sort of a remixing of stuff. It's very hard to be innovative in literature these days, right? To write something that will be truly groundbreaking.
Hmm.
But it's not about that. I mean, authorship is not about being innovative. You may be totally repetitive and still claim authorship, but
Yeah, so
like you
machine
said,
cannot be an author.
yeah, because it acts on somebody's command or prompt, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But then again, if you prompt the computer, are you the author? You're not, because I mean, you are not, because everything that is
What
the
about the
content.
author of a compilation?
Oh yeah, you're right. You mean like scientific books or?
Compilation, for example, I want to publish 10 short stories. The central theme of each is, I don't know, winter. So I find these short stories, they have been written by different authors, but I
I
need
know
to make
that
this
you have 10
nice
authors.
compilation.
No, you have 10 authors, and
10 authors of these stories, but I will be the author of this compilation.
yes, your name would be there
Yeah,
because you were the
yeah.
one who
I
collected these
compile, yes.
essays, or yeah, yeah, you're
Because
right, you
it took some
compiled it.
work. I need to, understand the theme. I need to see it between the lines or even, in the lines. And
Yeah, this is where the author actually means the one who made it, the actor,
Mhm.
kind of. The one who it's just like, it's like that swear words on the wall.
Yeah,
You're the author.
but the idea, that's what that's why I just couldn't call AI an author, because the idea didn't come from.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I see. I see. So the author is actually the author of the idea.
Not only. No,
Not
not
only.
only.
No, no, because
But
like I
on the
said,
other
if it
hand,
was
if
like
I
that,
give
then
you a
prompting
great
would
idea
actually.
for the book, I give you a great idea for the book. Yeah.
Mhm,
You write this book.
mhm.
I think deep down you will be inclined to put me somewhere on your book. I mean, if you're a good person, you would feel
Yeah,
that something
maybe in
is,
the acknowledgements or
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mm, but I don't think I could. Let's say that it was like that. You gave me a great, brilliant idea. I developed it into a book, but I don't think I could say that you are the author of it.
The author of the idea.
No, author of the book, or that you have any authorship rights. It's just like, it's just like starting a business. Sometimes you may get inspiration from someone, but then it was actually Zuckerberg, right, who started Facebook like that. It was an idea of someone else. There were like two twin brothers, I think. I remember watching the movie. And he basically stole their idea, developed it into what is currently known as Facebook.
If you
But
knew I was working on this idea, I was writing a book, and you stole it, would you, okay, deep down, consider me a co-author of your book?
Mm, no, in that case, not because I'd be probably, envious or jealous.
I
But
don't
you're
know.
right.
There's
I mean,
something about this idea, how it, not even the idea, but not the idea, but the will didn't come from AI. That's maybe what I was trying to say.
yes, but we are not far from,
Well,
I
that's
guess,
why I say
AI's.
now,
Yeah,
because AIs
yeah.
don't have any agency
So,
for
so,
now.
so what about scientific papers or more like academic theses and so on,
You mean
written
because it's always based on what people
thanks
did
to
before you?
AI, but of course
Ah,
prompted by, I mean, there is no author there because on the one hand, the text is compiled or written or
the
produced
author
basically by the
is
machine.
whoever put his name on this paper.
Yeah.
Because if I want to debate something, argue something, who do I go to?
Hmm. Yeah,
Who
you
can
go to the author,
defend
yeah.
the ideas in this paper? I go to the author.
But what about plagiarism? I mean, you copy passages from other books and then you put your name on it. And can you claim authorship?
No, that's why it's called plagiarism.
But what? But you know that AI or LLMs right now, they are some sort of very cunning uh, plagiarism machines because they take small bits and pieces from various resources that they have access to. And in fact, this is plagiarism, but it's not really possible to detect it because it's like using 1 million sources and taking a phrase from here, a phrase from there, paraphrasing and so on. But it's not authorship is something original, I think.
Yeah, you also build on something others did before you, but you need to introduce something new. Then only then
Mhm.
it's not
It's
plagiarism.
very
But
hard.
if it's
Yeah.
devoid of any original thought, then yeah, though that's hard. That's why you know, it's hard to
The question of
determine.
original or the question of original thoughts, it's also interesting because I don't think if it's possible anymore. I mean, something's telling me it is possible, but so much has been said, written, published, and so on that um, coming up with a really truly original thought today, I think it's borders with impossibility.
Maybe. So this book, for example, there are so many tools
Hmm.
today, AI tools that can write for you, I don't know, anything from a scene to a chapter, or even, I don't know, well, chapter probably. So
Hmm.
and there are many writers who use extensively, who use AI to write their books. So I
Hmm.
can say that most of this book was written by AI, but I'm the author
The author of
because I
what?
put
I
my
mean,
name on it, because I put my name on
yeah,
it.
because you put your name on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's yeah, I would say you are a technical author.
And because I still have the agency. Okay, AI has written this scene for me, but it's I who read it, who decide if it's okay or
Yeah, who
not,
review it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
review it, and I put my name on it.
Yeah, that's the trick, with the modern technology that it's kind of blurring the borders. Now it's very hard. Um, I would look. Yeah, the word author is terrible, because on the one side, plain and simple, it's somebody who made it, or who, in other words, who put their name on something, right? And on the other
But maybe
side,
maybe
there's
that's
a
why
deeper
the
meaning to
film directors are
authorship.
not called authors, because if you're an author, it means this creation is whole yours, from will to idea to execution to putting your name on it. So
Yeah,
what
and
AI
maybe,
is lacking is a will to write a book and maybe the idea. It can do all the rest, but it will not be called an author. And movies, just by definition, they are not made by one person. That's why they're never called authors, because there are like, the credits sometimes roll for 10 minutes, like the Lord of the Rings and so many authors,
Yeah, Star Wars.
Mm.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So we don't really have an author of a movie unless it's some sort of a collective, right? And all of these people mentioned in the credits, right? But
actually, I'm rolling this phrase in my language, and actually it's a collocation. In my language, the author of this film.
oh yeah, yeah. I would say that in Polish, autorem tego filmu jest. Yeah, I would say that. It's just in
But
English
in
that
English,
maybe
no.
the author of this film. The author. No, the author, I mean, author is almost synonymous to writer,
Yeah,
because you may
well,
have the author of the script, the author of whatever, but not really the author of a movie, It is rather something that is written, and yeah. But of course, we may ask a really genuine question, what does authorship means, Is it, I mean, how much work? Because on the one side, you mentioned that the will is fundamental. It has to start somewhere, this is the author, it's not even the roots, it's probably the seed even, before the roots are formed. But then on the other side, if you are just that, if you just, if you are just the spiritus movens, then I don't think that you may claim authorship, because authorship also requires some work,
yeah, that's me, actually.
Yeah.
The seed is there.
So
It's awake, but no.
you mean that your book is not
Yeah,
coming out anytime soon? It's
yeah,
it's stuck,
I
or?
wouldn't even call it a seedling.
Mhm. All right.
But that's
It's
okay.
interesting, but it's interesting, But so you cannot claim to be an author.
No, there's nothing.
But what if the idea is original? What if, there are a lot of, conditions that you met as an author? The only thing is that you haven't finished it, right?
Yeah, it has to
Can you
be
be an
complete. You cannot
author
be an
of
author of an outcome. But
unfinished
wait a second.
work?
Some after some writers have died, they discover their unfinished work.
Oh yeah, you're right. Of course, and they publish that.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
of course. So and the authorship is still theirs. I mean, the dead writers.
But you have to be a
So you
hell
don't
of
have
a
to.
writer.
So you don't
Shakespeare or
have to.
something.
But yeah, you need a. Of course, because it's also. I guess it sells better. Also, But I was thinking there's another thing, and it's also AI related. Sorry for that. But I was thinking the other day that right now with the technology we have, we could immortalize certain. I believe I was thinking about singers, but definitely writers too. Imagine that AI has access to all the writing a given writer ever published, right? Michel
Mhm.
Houellebecq, for example. And I believe that after Michel Houellebecq's death, that machine could publish another book by Michel Houellebecq or Michel Houellebecq
Yes,
style,
yes.
perfectly, the same language, kind of course, original idea, something that Houellebecq never wrote about, but could technically or potentially write about. I was thinking about singers, I was thinking about Bono and U2. And I think that once they are dead, artistically or physically, uh, they could kind of have a second life because the machine, I mean, they left such an output,
It has already been done. There is a song by Nirvana written by AI.
and officially released.
Yes, 3,
Oh,
4 years
goddamn, I didn't
ago.
know about it. Why, I didn't
But
know about it.
they used, of course, a human being who sounds a little bit similar to record the song. They recorded it, but the song, this is
But
how it was
so,
created. The AI was fed all songs ever written by Nirvana, and it wrote
all
this
right.
new, you know, song.
And
And the
but wait,
minute
but
it
was
starts
Kurt
playing, you understand
Cobain's?
immediately that this is a song by Nirvana because it's so
But you
typical.
said that, but the I was not singing it with the
Not
voice of
singing.
Kurt
No,
Cobain.
no,
Uh,
no.
but I was
But
thinking about that
but it was
because you
five
could,
years ago. Of course,
but
now
it's
they can.
it could easily be
Now,
done.
yes, yes,
You could have Kurt Cobain
yes, yes,
singing with his own voice,
yes.
you know, something that is unique, one of a kind.
Hmm.
And
Now
I
we
wonder
think it's
if the
doable.
authorship would go to Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, but who will tell AI to do this? If nobody told it, if it does it on its own accord, the will must be there. AI at the moment doesn't do things like that on its own.
Okay, but let's say that first in the first scenario, the record company who still has the rights to Nirvana's songs decides that let's publish another Nirvana's album, you know, and so they write 12 or I don't know 15 songs. I mean, AI does it, and they release it. And who's the author of that?
Okay, now we
Um,
came to a point when we really need a, intellectual rights attorney. What is a lawyer here? Because
yeah,
I have no idea. Okay.
no, but it's really it's interesting, right? Because it's like a dead man walking. It's like a zombie because you just use the
And you keep
body, you use
milking
the
it and
name.
milking it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but what is even funnier is that it could actually be quite creative, and
Even better than the,
who knows? Who
who
knows?
knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
Hmm.
But you could have fresh Nirvana or U2 or Metallica songs every month, and
What a world.
yeah, so they could live forever, live and not just live, but create
Recreate.
forever. Yeah, it's amazing, and I wonder what. But you're right, this is the case for lawyers, But
Yeah.
but the lawyers would have to establish what does it mean authorship, what does it mean to be an author, who is an author in that case. It would probably because the profits would probably go to the record label, but I don't know about the authorship, because there's who is the president of the label, or who, the idea giver. Yeah, it's interesting, All right. Or imagine that, I tell my assistant, my AI assistant, uh, play me a new Nirvana song, right like that, create, compose something, and please, I want to enjoy this kind of Nirvana sound. And so probably I am the author now because the will was on my side, I want to listen to a
Well,
new
it's only
Nirvana
one
song.
part of it.
Yeah. Oh, this is so complex. I wish we
Another
could get in
meaningful
touch with the
conversation.
with the yeah with the person who came up with that
Yeah, we can
slogan.
tag her.
We
Maybe she
turn
will do us the
Yeah,
honor of,
yeah, yeah. We turn
explaining.
or I help you become an author, not just a writer. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. It's once again two concepts that are quite common. I mean, we use them every day or every other day. But come to think about it, it's like, oh, goddamn,
Now I'm like,
it's a
I hope I didn't confuse it. And
bottomless
I
hole.
hope it's really like that, not the other way around, like you said. The whole conversation becomes moot point
No,
if
but
I
but
confused stuff.
no, I think it's really clever, and thanks a lot, Masha, once again. It's always your questions that generate
A 1 hour
the greatest
podcast.
the greatest the greatest ferment. Great. Thanks a lot. I feel fulfilled.
So if you also want to feel fulfilled, you can either become a student or join us on this show and be our guest.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Great.
And
Thanks a lot, Masha, for this week's conversation.
so this was another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.